This is a continuation of yesterday's Poet's Tree, a collection of readings of various poems that I like. Slight variation on the theme here, in that I'm going to read them over some imagery created in the PowerPoint rather than you having to look at my face, which I'm sure will be a huge relief to everyone. So I'll put the links up to the books and the details of the various poets for those of you who would like to try and order one of the books or chase up some other poetry by the same poets if you like the particular selection I've included here. So to start with, Aonghas MacNeail's poem The White Hind, which comes from his collection The Avoiding and Other Poems, which was originally written in Scots Gaelic, but I'm going to give you the English translation of The White Hind. I take the mountain road, high amidst the grey-red knolls, observing the hind, seeking her love. The carefree sun is in the sky already, and the sliver of the old moon goes to rest behind the two peaks in the ridge which beckon to each other as they always have. I'd wish, rather than travel, to be close to you, my white hind, and not wakened yet. That's not to be this time. As the last star of night goes out, you are far from me now as I travel the mountain road, uncertain whether you are awake or whether I have a place in your dreams. Tell us something new, say the philosophers, as if their words could stop the hunter, as I go to sit behind a desk where you will come between my pen and paper. Hide and seek among the branched columns of my ledger, your distracting, illusory visit will slow the clock and completely unbalance my judgment. My food will be without appearance or essence, and when I'm drinking I know I'll not see the cup. You'll be a star at the back of my mind, so bright you'll extinguish the sun. But my thought will be on the other hunt, where the indifferent weapons are carried on the shoulders of the stalkers who don't know your beauty, nor your caresses they want, but the hunt and the gutting blow. My white hind. Oh, my white hind. Which I think is a rather lovely one, and reminds me both again of the writing process and the ease with which people are distracted from pen and paper into other things, but also, of course, the dream of the white hind that forms such a strong part of Celtic mythology, the pursuit of the elusive beast that takes people into other realms. And now from Scots to Irish to Oscar Wilde himself. And though Oscar Wilde, of course, was Irish, Endymion is inspired by his love of all things Greek and classical. And the story, the ancient myth of the shepherd Endymion. Now, this particular poem was meant to be set to music. I don't actually know what the tune is, and even if I did, I sing like a cat falling down a lift shaft, so it's probably safer for all and sundry if I just read it rather than attempt to sing it. But perhaps you can imagine what the music might be like. Endymion. The apple trees are hung with gold, and birds are loud in Arcady. The sheep lie bleating in the fold. The wild goat runs across the wold, but yesterday his love he told. I know he will come back to me. O rising moon, O lady moon, be you my lover's sentinel. You cannot choose but know him well, for he is shod with purple shoon. You cannot choose but know my love, for he a shepherd's crook doth bear, and he is soft as any dove, and brown and curly is his hair. The turtle now has ceased to call upon her crimson-footed groom. The grey wolf prowls about the stall. The lily's singing seneschal sleeps in the lily bell, and all the violet hills are lost in gloom. O risen moon, O holy moon, stand on the top of Hellis, and if my own true love you see, oh, if you see the purple shoon, the hazel crookman, the lad's brown hair, the goat skin wrapped about his arm, tell him that am waiting where the rushlights glimmer in the farm. The falling dew is cold and chill, and no bird sings in Arcady. The little fawns have left the hill, even the tired daffodil has closed its gilded doors, and still my lover comes not back to me. False moon, oh waning moon, where is my own true lover gone? Where are the lips vermilion, the shepherd's crook, the purple shoon? Why spread that silver pavilion? Why wear that veil of drifting mist? Oh, thou hast young Endymion, thou hast the lips that should be kissed. Can't think why I like that one. We've all been there. And this is by Patrick Kavanagh, another Irish poet. It's called Bluebells for Love, and comes from a collection which I picked up whilst on holiday in Ireland a few years ago from a second-hand bookshop. The collection is called The Long Embrace, which takes an element of its name from this, I think. So, Bluebells for Love. There will be bluebells growing under the big trees, and you will be there and I will be there in May. For some other reason we both have to delay the evening in Dunshaughlin to please some imagined relation. So both of us came to walk through that plantation. We will be interested in the grass, in an old bucket hoop, in the ivy that weaves, green incongruity among dead leaves. We will put on surprise at carts that pass, only sometimes looking sideways at the bluebells in the plantation, and never frighten them with too wild an exclamation. We will be wise, we will not let them pass, that we are watching them, or they will pose a mere facade like boys, caught out in virtue's naturalness. We will not impose on the bluebells in that plantation too much of our desire's adulation. We will have other loves, or so they'll think, the primroses, or the ferns, or the briars, or even the rusty paling wires, or the violets on the sunless sorrel bank. Only as an aside, the bluebells in the plantation will mean a thing to our dark contemplation. We'll know love little by little, glance by glance. Ah, the clay under those roots is so brown. We'll steal from heaven while God is in the town. I caught an angel smiling in a chance. Look through the tree trunks of the plantation as you and I walked slowly to the station. And of course, in a few weeks, the bluebells will all be out in the woods, and let's hope we are still allowed to go out and walk amongst the woods and see the bluebells and enjoy them for how beautiful they are. Reminds me of Beltane, the bluebells in the woods. I often think if Caminos has eyes, they'd be the colour of bluebells. And lastly, a poem by Thomas Kinsella from the same collection. This one is called A Lady of Quality, and is a rather sad little poem set by a woman's hospital bed. A Lady of Quality. In a hospital where windows meet with sunlight in her pleasing feet, of airy architecture my love has sweets and grapes to eat. The air is like a laundered sheet, the world's a varnished picture. Books and flowers at her head make living quarters of her bed, and give a certain style to our pillow chat. The nonsense said to bless the room from present dread, just for a brittle while. For obvious reasons we ignore the leaping season out of door. Light lively as a ferret, woodland walks, a crocus shore, the transcendental birds that soar and tumble in high spirit. While under this hygienic ceiling, where my love lies down for healing, tiny terrors grow, reflected in a look revealing that her care is spent concealing what perhaps I know. The ever-present crack in time, forever sundering the lime, paths and the fragrant fountains, photographed last summer, from the unknown memory we climb to find in this year's mountains. Ended and done with, never ceases, Constantly the heart releases wild geese to the past. Look how they circle poignant places, falling to sorrow's fouling pieces, with soft plumage aghast. We may regret, and we must abide, grief, the hunter's fatal stride, among the darkening hearts has gone too long on either side. Our trophied love must now divide into its separate parts. And you go down with womankind who in her beauty has combined unfocused human hungers with country ladies who could wind a nation's love affairs with mind around their little fingers. And I communicate again, recovered order to my pen, to find a further answer, as, having looked all night in vain, a weary prince will sigh, and then take a familiar dancer. Now the windows turning dark, and ragged rooks across the park mix with the branches. All the clocks about the building mark the hour. The random is at work on us. 2 petals fall. A train lifts up a lonely cry. Our fingertips together lie upon the counterpane. It will be hard, it seems, and I would wish my heart to justify what qualities remains. Which seems strangely apposite for these times, when there will be people by hospital beds with loves that may not return. The 2 paintings that have featured in these series of images, the first one of Endymion was by Ira Penigent, and the one here, the hospital ward scene, is by Emma Myville. I'll put links up to them as well onto the blog page, alongside links to the various poems and books. Hopefully that's provided a little bit of a distraction and perhaps sparked an interest in poets you might be unfamiliar with. Thank you.